Welcome to the Spice TEA Podcast, TeeSpicerReacts Monthly Music Spill.
Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Spice TEA Podcast. Last month y'all emphatically said that y'all wanted to see another episode on YouTube, so here it is. We are of course joined by my fellow host Andy and Ed.
Hey T.
Yeah.
Hey T. Hey Andy.
Hey.
Hi Ed.
This time we are joined by one of Angelina Jordan's super fans and provider of some of the best AJ videos on YouTube. Hi Chris, this is Chris Walker.
Hello. Aloha from Hawaii.
Oh my God.
Hey Chris.
I would say good night, but it seems like it's good day. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon here.
Well, the thing about it is that as far as everybody watching, I wanted to find out if you can let us know. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of angels will probably be watching this particular segment. But for the novice person who is actually taking a look at the podcast now, could you tell me, one, who AJ is and what has your journey been with her?
Well, I was part of, I think, the big second wave that became aware of her with America's Got Talent, with her performance of Bohemian Rhapsody. That just blew me away. It was the best performance I'd ever seen on that program. And since then, right after that, I just devoured all that I could and have been following her ever since. And I actually even started my own channel, devoted exclusively to Angelina Jordan just to promote her. But so for people who are new to her, yes, she's from Norway. She just turned 16 this year. She won Norway's Got Talent at age 8. And she's not as well known as a lot of people, mainly because her family kind of wanted her to have a normal life. But it looks like she's about ready to break out big time. That's what at least a lot of us angels are thinking. But just an extraordinary singer that kind of words fail me sometimes to describe what makes her so good.
And as far as, in terms of, she just completed her, should I say her debut, her teenage debut for everyone in Norway with a series of concerts. I know that you attended some.
Mm-hmm.
What was your experience like? And was it the first time you had seen her in concert?
Yes, I was very much looking forward to this because it was the first time I had seen her. And she hadn't been performing live at all, except for a few small private events for the past 3 years because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So it was like a lot of people were anticipating this. So I did have a vacation already planned in Europe. So it wasn't like I packed up just to go to see her, but still the timing, I did arrange the timing of it so that I could go and see her. So I saw her at Kongsberg, and I actually put out a video about this, about my 5 biggest takeaways of it. But my top takeaway is that she is just crazy good live. It's the video, the recordings of her live, even the best quality recordings just don't capture how amazing she is live. She had a slowed down version of her original song, Million Miles, that I cried at that one. And a lot of other people in the audience were crying, and just a great performance. After, there wasn't a bad song, even close to a bad song in the whole concert. It was just amazing.
Any questions, guys? Your mic is off, Ed.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, I was going to ask, did you get the impression that she was known by a lot of the folks, or were some folks discovering her for the first time when you were there?
Yeah, well, most of the, that's another whole subject, is kind of the mystery of her fan base is mostly older, and I have certain theories about that. And you could see that it was mainly people who did know her. And so it was kind of an older crowd. But I did notice that, and some people talked about this, that they kind of dragged people along to see her. And these newcomers were very impressed. Like one person was saying that she brought her husband along, and now after that one concert, he said, "Oh, this is the best voice I've ever heard." And another one was saying that she brought her kids along, and now they're big Angelina Jordan fans. So I really think that after my experience with this concert, that's the number one way I think she can gain new fans, is just to put herself in front of a lot of people, because when you're there live, it's just amazing.
Yeah, each venue was pretty small. Consberg was how many thousand, would you say, Chris?
Oh, I don't know for that. Of course, that had a lot of different acts. She was just one of the acts there.
Yep.
Yeah, so a few tens of thousands, I would say, and the others were probably smaller than that. That were just her. So yeah, she definitely has not broken out, as a major media star yet, but I think she's on the cusp.
Have you heard anything like she's talked about her original, her debut album twice now at the Christmas concert, which I had the distinct pleasure of attending, and I've heard during the small interviews that she did for the concerts that she was working very hard on her album that's coming out that will be filled with originals. So, did you have any discussions or anything maybe with her team as to when that may be coming, or even AJ herself?
No, I wish I had been able to talk to her team, or especially to Angelina. I didn't actually. I did see her mom from up close because she was busy going around recording the concert. But I just heard indirectly that the album that we're all hoping was coming out this year is probably not until next year. But that also that there are going to be at least many originals, if not like all originals, and that will be exciting. It's hard for me to imagine that there aren't great songwriters rushing out there and saying, "Oh, can I please write a song for Angelina Jordan?" Because any song she does, she really kills it, I think.
Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask, I don't know if any of the guys wanted to ask it as well, but it seems that she has been taking a lot of pride in the fact she's been taking songs like Me in My Backyard. She's been taking a lot of pride in the way her songwriting has matured. And so I'm wondering if you think it's going to be a mix of her songwriting or or maybe a collection of both, because she will be doing it with Republic Records, right?
Mm-hmm. I think she is going to have a mix of some songs. And like I was saying, that it's hard for me to imagine that there aren't these great songwriters wanting to write songs for her. And she's actually more well known in the industry than she is by the public at large. There's a lot of evidence that, people in the industry are very well aware of her. She just hasn't broken through to the masses yet. So, I can imagine there could be a surprise, like, that, Bruno Mars writes her a song, or, some big songwriter like that writes her a song. And her songwriting, I would say, definitely has progressed. These last two, Seventh Heaven and Million Miles, are both really great songs, and the lyrics are in Seventh Heaven, I think especially, are quite sophisticated. So I'll be excited. Whatever covers, original songs written by others, and original songs by her, I'm sure they're all going to be good.
Something that doesn't get mentioned often with Angelina is that there's evidence to support that she loves to write, and not just write songs, but she writes in her diary. And that being said, I'd be willing to wager that she has dozens of original songs that we've yet to hear. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be up to Republic to really pick and choose what they want to be on her first album with Republic. And I think they'll have a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Well, I think that definitely another example, some people say, oh, she hasn't written that many songs, but she has two other ways of being very creative that I don't think it's talked about enough. One is her book, which sounded like it was written by an adult poet to me. It was beautiful poetic language in the first person, just beautiful writing in that. And then she also does a lot of writing in the sense of radically rearranging songs and turning them into totally different things. It's like they're now an Angelina Jordan song.
You have anything?
No, I mean, at this point, I think the challenge is time. I mean, I know, Andy, you and I have talked about it, but I think the sooner she gets more things coming out, the better, because the public is fickle, right? And time has passed. So hopefully there'll be a teaser this year, one song dropped from the album before the year is over or something like that. That would be my hope to, position her, to keep her in the public's mind. Because just coming in cold, I mean, even with the Republic's backing, right, there are artists who struggle, right? And if the name recognition stays there, I think it'll help her, get the attention she deserves.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the fact that once it started, I think if we count when she released the Elvis Presley cover, and then she went to Norway and she did those concerts, and then she came home and she released the cover from Whitney Houston. And I think she has done a number of, her smaller little things. But I did notice, somebody pointed out to me, one of my subscribers, that in the credit section that they have the I Have Nothing credited to her. So I wanted to find out if this great songwriter who loves her very much, he wrote a lot of music for Celine Dion.
Not David Foster? Not David Foster.
Yeah. I did hear that he was writing some songs for her, but that's all about the rumor mill. At this point in stage, we all speculating because we all want to fill in, as Ed was saying, the gaps that she has in between, because all of her fans have been following her for years. I've only been following her since 2019, and many others were following her much earlier. But that's her core, that's her angels. And in terms of I still can't fathom that there are people who really don't know her. But as I keep watching reaction videos, and there are a lot of reaction videos, which I want to get into just now, you see more and more people discovering her. Thank God, a lot of big channels are now discovering her. So, it's putting more eyeballs on her. And they're not only just doing her covers, they're also doing her originals as well. So, but I agree with you, Ed, 100%.
Yeah, I think the challenge is she's done a lot of stuff on YouTube, as I've said before, which is fine, but I think she needs something that reaches other platforms, something gets on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, all those, because there are a lot of folks on those platforms who just don't go looking in YouTube for music, and that exposing them to her would be good. And, I know a lot of folks who are in that way, right? They put Spotify on during the day, they listen to it all day long. They never go to YouTube to find music. So
there's a direct correlation between putting out new content and more people finding her. She's been gaining about 23,000 subscribers every 30 days on her official YouTube channel, which she hasn't seen growth like that since after Bohemian Rhapsody on America's Got Talent. So there's that direct correlation. And somebody mentioned in the comments that if you look in the description of I Have Nothing that she just put on her official channel, that it says that video or that song is owned by Angelina Jordan Music Incorporated.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, and I've lost the train of thought. Yes, that's what I was trying to get at as well. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so whoever owns the copyright to I Have Nothing gave permission to Angelina to own her version of it. Which that's a big step. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It's kind of hard for me to maintain objectivity, being such a good fan, but I do think that there is objective evidence now that a breakout is coming pretty soon. Yeah.
Well, I think I can count three angels and an admirer. So if because I know Andy is a angel, I'm definitely in that rabbit hole, and I know Chris is, I know Ed is an admirer of hers. But I would like to find out in terms of Ed. I wanted to find out in terms of what you've been seeing in the last couple of months, maybe since May, June, July. What do you think of the response that she's had? Let's just say on YouTube, because as you say, she hasn't put out anything since her is an EP or album that she had put out when she was younger, on the other platforms. So what do you think of her, the Rolling Stone that has been happening, the Rolling Stone effect?
I think, watching what she did with Elvis, right? We saw that, and her interpretation, I thought was good. And I guess the question, the problem is people can be fickle. So are we going to see something else in the next quarter? And then, whether it's an interview or something, I think that, she's got the momentum going. The question is, can she hold a little bit there? I don't think she needs to do grand gestures, but you look at some of the other release plans of other artists, and they try to do something roughly once a quarter, right? Whether it's hey, here's 2 minutes on what I'm doing, or here's a clip from my new song, or something like that. I hope she's got something like that in mind with the Blessing Republic, because I think that will sustain this momentum as she leads up to to an album release. And having a release with sort of, shall we say, chumming the water, I think will benefit her, because she's going to have more folks who are interested to see what she's going to do, what's coming out, how's that going to look. And the end of the year is coming, so maybe New Year's Eve, having her, perform somewhere 1 or 2 songs would not be a bad thing. There are tons of venues, so that would be a great thing to have on there, whether it's an official broadcast or a fan in the audience or something saying, hey, look at who appeared at, whatever benefit concert, variety show. I mean, there are bazillions of venues there. So, I think that it's set for her to do something here, and I'm anxious to see where it goes, because the gal's obviously got some pipes on her. There is no denying that. And let's see where it is. I mean, she's sort of been a little genre bending in some ways, and I'm expecting the album's probably that way, because if she does an album of jazz standards, that will sort of cement her short term as here are the folks who are going to adopt it. But if she crosses some of those areas and has some pop or some blues or maybe a little rocky stuff in there, that will certainly be the crossover album that all the record companies like Republic just go nuts. Yes, go nuts over. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
Yeah, there was one other thing that popped up on one of the videos from her concerts, and talking to the fans there. There was one fellow who said that he works for 60 Minutes, and he's trying very hard to get Angelina a segment on 60 Minutes. And I think, with the pool that Republic has, when they're ready to really do the full-blown promotion, they could work with 60 Minutes to have that segment air around that same time of that promotion.
Yeah.
And it would really tie everything in.
Well, if you look at Eva Cassidy, right, after she passed, Nightline did a segment on Songbird, and those were the old days of buying physical media. But the next week, she sold 11,000 copies, more than had been sold the previous year. So there's definitely an audience there, 60 Minutes and those sorts of things. So I sure hope they explore all those things. That would be, I think that would be a great way of, locking some of those folks in.
I remember you actually mentioning Chris at the beginning of the stream that her audience tends to be of the older sort.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that. But I have seen many young people react to her whenever they hear. They think that is getting them in front of her to actually hear her, because once they actually hear her, then a lot of people are instant fans, as you can say, right? But the thing about it is that I wanted to ask you if you think that it is by design or just coincidence that she happens to have so many fans or angels that are on the older side. Is it that that because she started off singing blues and jazz and covering all the old standards, that was just a natural progression? Or do you think now that she is covering newer music, because she's been doing that on TikTok, and I think her being on TikTok is an actual planned thing by AJ to get to the younger set of people? What's your thoughts on that whole audience?
Well, first of all, about TikTok, I definitely think that that is something she's deliberately trying to do to get new fans. And you can see actually some of these TikTok releases just within a few days get hundreds of thousands of views. More than her YouTube stuff. So yeah, she needs to keep on doing that. But as to why her fan base so far is as old as it is, I mean, I actually put out a video about that. I mean, I don't think it's because it's like these, jazz fans who are, so it's not this nostalgia thing just by jazz fans. Because first of all, I mean, jazz was already dying out by the early 60s in terms of being a mass media thing. When, I grew up, you didn't hear jazz on the radio. Most of these people are fans my age, or 50s, 60s, around there is the average age, and those people didn't grow up on jazz. So I don't think it's it's because of the jazz particularly. I just think that we have had exposure to so many different genres of music and have liked many different kinds of people, of singers and genres, and then along comes somebody who kind of almost transcends genre. It's like it doesn't really matter what genre it is that she's singing. In fact, you hear this all the time. People, and I've said this myself, of, well, I didn't like that. I don't like this song. Oh, but I like her version of it. And there are people saying, oh, I didn't think I liked jazz at all, but now I'm really listening to jazz that I'm hearing her jazz song. And there's so many of these people who are fans of hers come from listening to genres of music that you would not think that they would like Angelina Jordan, like they're heavy metal, hard rock listeners, and say, like this Norwegian friend I have, he actually helped me get me to the concert. He was like a big, like super hard rock fan. And now, Angelina Jordan is by far his favorite, so it's something that's like transcending genres. And I think that the older fans have this comparison to make of, well, I've heard all these different genres and there's just something unique about her. Because I think younger people, I mean, the reason why younger people are not more attracted to her, that is something I'm not as sure about. But I think it does have to do with, when you're younger, genre is more important. You're expecting to hear a certain kind. Music is supposed to sound a certain kind of way. And also the visual aspect. Younger people are expecting these, slick videos of people dancing around and things like that. And she doesn't, although her videos have become more polished, she's definitely not going for like where the visual is like more important than the audio. The audio is always much more important than the video.
Yeah. Is there an Amy Winehouse parallel here? I mean, not in lifestyle, right? Because Amy was a very different person, but you look at where she started out, she's playing, rock and a little blues in clubs. And then she releases albums that, I mean, she covered, The Boy from Ipanema, right? A standard, right? And she got quite a following. So I think there's a path clearly for AJ to go do, get a cross section of people there, right? They're out.
Right. I think in terms of like where she's starting from, two big paths I see for her gaining, getting mainstream mass popularity is the way that Amy Winehouse went. It's like jazz rooted pop, and then the other way is, I guess you would call it adult contemporary, like Adele, because I think that just about every Adele song that she has done, she's better than Adele. I mean, not everybody agrees with me on that, but they'll say that at least it's comparable to Adele. And Adele is. So that kind of really emotional ballad, that's one thing that people talk about, is that she brings the waterworks like nobody else does. Yeah. So that's a way that she could get. I can see her coming out with some ballad that's just a massive hit in the kind of Adele style.
Andy, anything?
for me, I think Angelina sang so many songs that I had heard throughout my life. The vast majority of her covers, I was familiar with the songs. I might, some of them I might not have heard much, but I had heard them. And, my early days after learning of her, there was just some connection, and I think that's, and it's an emotional connection, and you can't you can't really deny that. And there are people, many people who listen to music for a different type of emotion. And what Angelina's bringing them, they don't want to go there. They don't want to go to that type of emotion. So it's true for any artist. I mean, even the Beatles, their popularity probably was not much greater than 50%. Of the general public. So you're never going to win everybody over. That's impossible. But if you get near that 50% range of the public and say, yeah, I enjoy listening to her, then you've hit the big time.
Well, yeah, I would say that's fair to say. If you hit the percentage of the people that like the Beatles, yeah, you're probably going to be pretty successful.
Right.
Well, I don't want to keep you much longer, but I do want to find out what you think about, we touched on it for a second, the many reactors that have popped up, because yes, she had a certain amount of reactors that constantly do her videos and everything, and of course you have the few in between who have done only her to just gain views and subscribers and stuff like that. But you have a few, like myself, who are completely fans, devoted. When we do Angelina's, because we do it from the heart. What would you say to the ones that have been coming on board that are just in it for the, success of their channels or whatever it is?
Yeah, well, I think, yes, the quality of reactors is kind of a thorny subject. I do think you have to be careful. I think that a reactor who is not sincere can actually do damage to an artist. So one thing that I look for in these new reactors is are they just have these other people they react to that they kind of use the same terms of, this person's fantastic. That to me tells me they're just looking for views. I tend to like the ones who seem to have more knowledge of music and talk a little bit about her technique. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be like a vocal coach. I'm certainly not a vocal coach, but that they show some understanding, that, and that they're genuinely, like, you can see that they're blown away, that they're surprised by how good she is. That's a pretty good sign that it's sincere. I don't know what to do about those ones that are not sincere, but it does seem like a lot of these ones, people catch on that they're not sincere because they really don't get very many views at all.
There are also ones that, and I hate to bring it up at all, but there have been a few that have literally crawled my skin, that are creepy, that they become not just fans, but kind of stalkerish kind of way. Yeah. And it makes me cringe every time they put out a video on. I almost want to go, hit the dislike button just because I want it down so badly. Yeah. I can name a few, I won't, but they have one or two that are borderline disgusting to me. Those are the ones that you can't do anything about the ones that are in it for the views only. I mean, in a kind of way, they're still spreading it. But the ones that are taking it a bit too far, but are pushing the envelope in being demonetized or something like that, that is the ones that I am a little bit afraid of, because, we could talk all day and night. She's only 16 and, she's still a child. So, how do we as fans, as the Angel Collective, try to combat that?
You just don't frequent those reaction channels. You know,
Right.
the ones that are not sincere, you know, in your own view, you know, because everybody's got their own different view
Yeah.
on each reactor. The ones that you don't find sincere, you don't click on them anymore, and especially the ones that you find creepy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure T, you've dealt the same thing with the warning.
Yeah.
You know, and because there you got 3 young girls, you know, that they're older now, but still
One's
they're
still underage.
yes, they're still very young. But it's the same deal there, and yeah, there's really nothing you can do other than to not support those channels.
Right. And one thing that's really important not to do that you think might be something that is good to do is like have these negative comments scolding them. No, that actually helps them. The algorithm likes that. So
I know that for a certain fact.
don't engage. Yeah, don't engage with them. For me, the absolute worst, though, are the ones that are just total pirates. They just copy something directly from her TikTok without adding anything new to it at all. I mean, that is obviously just for the money. You know?
Yeah, this is the latest from whomever, and then and then at the end, wasn't that great? Click.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
They've been I don't know. I mean, I had a list of stuff that I was going to give Andy, but I have come across a couple of them that actually have been using reactors videos as their own, and not the ones that compile, you know, reactions. That's fine with me in a kind of a way, as long as you get in touch with the reactors and say, I'm going to use your footage. I don't mind that at all. Most of them don't do that, but I know I used to do that for movies, and I certainly, you know, went ahead and got in touch with everybody. But I have the few who have actually used the entire video with just redoing the title, and you know, sometimes they even take the description and copy and paste it into the description. It is so, oh man, that one.
And then they post with a photo like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, actually, the thing about it is, I can't remember, but I saw one of yours, Chris, and by the time I went to like tell somebody, they had pulled it down, because I mean, you're a pretty big AJ channel, and you know, people will recognize you obviously extremely quickly. So I think they smartened up, because I didn't see anything on the channel after that. But I was about to, you know, get in touch, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, one thing I've just
I think the number of views for those pirate channels, from what I've noticed, have started to decrease, and hopefully that's because the older fan base for Angelina has figured out that they can watch TikTok or Instagram on their computer or on their phone, you know, whichever device that they're comfortable with, and hopefully they're watching and supporting her directly that way, and that they don't have to look at a YouTube video to see what she did on TikTok or on Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to say that for some reason there's this new song from Kongsberg, the first song that she had. What is that? Mount Everest, which is a great song. For some reason, they've been pirating that like crazy. Every few days, I see some new channel has put out an exact copy of that. But luckily, they're only getting a few dozen views, because people are, you know, it's pretty obvious that it's pirated.
They agree. So after that, I just wanted to find out if you had heard anything about her future concerts or anything that she has going on.
No, I don't.
Recordings, anything like that.
I don't have, you know, of course, the really long-time fans like Rusty Shackelford and Boris Palanovsky, those are the two that always have the most inside information, I would say. So, I don't know anything about that. Apparently she had this Instagram where she was at some place in New Jersey. It looked like she had some kind of private event there that she did, which maybe we'll see something from that. But, I don't know about any plans for concerts.
New Jersey or New Hampshire? I heard she did a private event.
Okay, yeah, it was probably
it was New Hampshire. Yeah, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
On the way back from Norway, she stopped in New York, Boston, and New Hampshire, from what I understand.
Yeah, and she has like an Instagram picture of her like in this theater. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's all second, third hand information.
Yeah.
Well, I know this is my last question. I don't know about the Andy or Ed, but I did want to find out, in terms of your channel, do you have anything coming up? And I would like the link to the one that you just put out, because I will put it down below. But do you have anything? Do you have anything coming out?
Not anything, beyond the usual. I do a mix of some mashups, which are, take a lot longer to do, and then reactions. I have my A to Z series where I'm going to cover every single song she's ever done as a reaction, and I'm only about a third of the way through. But so those are continuing to come out, and on that other channel, simply because my channel is monetized, there is an issue with having these entire songs from the concert put on that monetized channel. So that's why I put them on my personal channel, called the Hawaii Walkers channel, and that's going to be I have like 5 or 6 of the songs from Kongsberg there, and they're eventually probably going to have all the songs on there.
Well, you can give me the particulars, or give Andy the particulars, and I'll be putting it into the description. So you all could get in the description will be Chris's 2 channels, and so you all could go check out the videos there. Chris, it has been fabulous. Thank you so much for appearing. I love her. And I love the Angels. I just recently had a live stream on Monday, and they keep surprising me. I keep putting up these barriers. I said, if you all 60 people come on the stream, I'll do it every month. And 60 people. Every time I think that they can't cross a certain bit, so I can they said, nah. So now I have been tied. Every month, every second week, I think I'll be doing an AJ live stream just for them. So it's quite, it's fixed. But I have to say, and I will say it in front of all 3 of you, I am very sincere when I do say that the Angels are perhaps the nicest, warmest fandom I have encountered so far in my 3 years of doing this. They have fandoms that are quite passionate, but and they have more that are very generous, but they have some mean ones too. But I'm talking about genuine, just nice, not a bad word, not a cross word. I've never encountered anything like that. So must be something in the water when it comes to AJ fans. I don't know. Anything else, guys?
It's nice to hear that.
No, just thanks for coming, Chris. And I'd change places with you for a while if that's okay, because it looks like you're in an island paradise. So good for you. Thanks.
Hey, I'm in an island paradise.
That's true. But you have quite a few stories about your island paradise there. He's just sitting in a chair with the chickens. So.
Oh, you want chickens? Oh, no problem. I can do that. I just have dogs.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. It was great.
All right. So, it was nice. I'm glad that I did, was able to show up here, because I had, I do have these visitors from Spain, and so that kind of distracted me from things. But yeah, it worked out good.
All right.
Okay, well, go have some paella and poi, and we'll see you another time.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay. In terms of the rest of the stream, it's nothing really. I'm rewriting everything. I'm throwing out with the bathwater what we've done for the last couple of episodes, because I really do like how last month was cut and everything. So basically, to round it off, we have 20 minutes left. I'm just going to basically say 2 things. July wasn't as explosive as June was, but I still managed to get some pretty decent numbers. We are sitting around, I think, almost 2,300. And top artist this month was AJ, of course, and So Young, Lara Fabian, and thanks to Ron Fuzia. Fuzia. Yeah, Fuzia. In terms of new albums and concerts and stuff for that, we'll get to you in a second, Ed. But I just wanted to find out in terms of, and I want to just have a short open discussion, a 10-minute discussion about new artists that you have basically become excited for, and artists that are still around and are doing and shaking the hemisphere. So we'll start with you, Ed.
Okay. Well, Madison Cunningham came out with a new album. I've seen her live. She is great. She's got a bluesy thing. Highly recommend. It's called Revealer. A blast from the past, Danny Elfman. Oingo Boingo has scored a ton of movies. Many, many years ago, I met him. His hair was a different color. But he's got an album out called Bigger, Messier, which is kind of an interesting thing to dive into. And, Maggie Rogers, who I think you might have remembered, T, from one of your streams, came out with Surrender. And that is really getting quite a groundswell of interest. I'd love to try to see her. She's just not coming by. But guess who's coming nearby is Fuzia. So
Oh, come on, dude!
just announced she'll be here. I think late October. So yeah. So that would be there. But yeah, I'm actually seeing Johnny Marr next month. Who, if you don't know Johnny Marr, the Smiths, then went on to be in The Pretenders. So going to a venue here right in town. So that should be a pretty fun time. So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff coming out. Tamino, if you don't know him, just came out with a new album, as did Jack White. So Jack continued called Entering Heaven. So if you don't, White Stripes, Jack White, he always brings it, whatever it is. So a lot of good music out there. For sure. So that's what I would say for the short term. And what about you, Andy?
Well, I just got back from a 2-week road trip. Not really prepared for this particular question. I'm trying to think if there's any, relatively new artists that I've come across recently, and I'm just not coming up with any. I'll give a couple oldie groups, which people might not be familiar with, which I've done a little more exploring with. Joy of Cooking is a band from the late '60s, early '70s. The lead singer has a really nice raspy voice, and sometimes they sound a little bit folk, other times just more straight rock. But very, very good quality, and a band that totally escaped me back in the day when I was that age. I had never heard of them, and just actually I found them on Sirius Radio. They got played on Sirius Radio. The other old band that I've just started to kind of dive down the rabbit hole, and it's a very, very deep rabbit hole. I don't know how I'm going to find time to really explore more, but I really enjoy.
What is time, Andy?
Yeah, I'm retired, right? 10cc. Yeah. You remember the reggae song that I played on your live stream? Yes. And that kind of inspired me right there. And I've always enjoyed artists that give me a lot of different styles and sounds, and 10cc really fits that mold. And they have a crap load of albums back in the day. So there's an awful lot to explore there. Those are my recommendations for this month.
Yeah, I saw a band that just announced their 42nd album, and I don't want to. Let me listen to it before I say something next month, because I've not heard them in like 11 years. Frankly, I thought 2 of them are dead. They're not dead. So I'll put that off till next month, but they have been around a long time to put out that many records. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's 42 is an awful lot. That's like up in Jethro Tull territory.
It is. One of the artists that I know you like, T, also Regina Spektor finally dropped her new album. So she is touring and doing pretty well as far as getting reception there. So hopefully we'll get some play on your streams and channels with her.
Of course, of course. As far as people that I have discovered, well, anybody that I usually discover, you all are the ones who find out first, because I either do it as a reaction or I do it on the live streams. And I do remember one that I went pretty a little gaga for was, I believe, one that you introduced me to. I cannot for the life of me remember her, but you gave me some info on her later. And I think about her and her girlfriend and having an Instagram account. And I really...
Mia Folick, maybe?
Yes, I think. And then I did a reaction on her. I haven't released it yet. But I did a deep dive, and I'm digging her really, really.
She's got an entire new album ready. Just before COVID, she played it in its entirety to a star-studded group out in LA, and she hasn't released it. So I've corresponded with her a couple times, and she says it's coming. So, but yeah, I did get to see her live before COVID. Tremendous show. I mean, just a tremendous show. So there's definitely more to come, to be sure, which is great.
Well, so that's my new artist that I'm discovering. But one that I am rediscovering right now, and that's because she came out with a single, and then, of course, she rumored that she was going to be releasing her full album, which she hasn't as yet, and that's Grace Vanderwall. And, I mean, I have been following this girl since she actually walked on stage at AGT. And, I mean, I followed her intensely. The only reason I kind of slipped off is because I discovered Billy. And then the warning, and then AJ. So I really. Well,
Grace is grown up now. She's not the 13-year-old that I remember doing. Was he 13 or 14? The last album she dropped prior to this, and she
the last album she dropped, she was 14. She was 13 when it came out. 14 by the time she was done touring and everything. And I have been following her. I follow her on Instagram and stuff like that. And when she got her tattoos and when she started to bring out some singles that were like rocky or a little blues rock and stuff. And I was like, I don't like her anymore. I don't know why she's gone to the dogs, whatever. And I said, the kid's growing up and she's growing up in front of people. And I love the fact that, at times we thought that she wasn't taking it on. I forgot she's a kid, so she would take it on. And this last 3 songs that she put out, woohoo, wow. She had to actually make her Instagram saying that, guys, I'm all right. It was just, the song was a therapeutic way of me getting through what I needed to get through at the time.
Oh, that was good to hear. Yeah, Lion's Den was like, whoa.
Yeah, because I was actually thinking, is she suicidal? What's going on? Because
who else did that was Amy Lee. I know we don't really talk about Evanescence, but she came out with a song called Lithium. And after she produced it, everyone's, oh my God, are you on lithium? What's happened? I had no idea. She said, no. It's my belief of what it probably like from the descriptions. I'm not actually being treated for that condition. So
Right. Yeah, and so I'm getting back into the rabbit hole again, and I have missed a lot of music, and most of her music have been unpublished. She just writes and writes and writes. This, and if anybody asks me what is the thing I can talk about in terms of Grace, I would always say 2 things: her tone and her absolutely magnificent songwriting. I mean, the girl can write a song. And so that's the mainstay when it comes to her. Other than that, I've just been drowning my tears as far as AJ and the warning are concerned. I get enough to handle there. So I'm just happy where my girls are going, and I could say girls. But other than that, and you have any more concerts coming up or albums coming up specifically that you haven't mentioned as yet?
Well, as I mentioned, I've got Johnny Marr coming up. I've got Jenny and the Mexicats. Finally, my third try. Yeah, if you don't know them, fun band. I mean, she sings and plays trumpet.
I love her.
She's from the UK. They're from Mexico. So she'll be here.
And she's 6'100".
Yeah. Tall and thin and kind of pretty. And I just saw the Wild Heart. So that was Julian Baker, Angel Olsen, and Sharon Van Etten. Except for Melting the Heat, I accidentally booked an outside venue. It was 104, but great show. And I made it through that. But yeah, I've got about...
That's why you're so red. Okay, I got it.
That's it. Yeah, I've got about 12 to 15 shows coming up through the rest of the year. So should be good. So as we go through the months, I'll unveil what's coming up next. And you can be mad at me at that point. So we'll park it out.
I'm pretty mad at you every week. I'm like, because
okay.
I know when Sunday go, I saw so. So I am just pretty mad at this stage. Andy, as far as you're going, that you always have a platter foot. You always going somewhere. Anybody to see? Anything that you're doing in the coming months?
On my road trip and spending a lot of time listening to Sirius Radio, I learned Joe Walsh is continuing his series of doing concerts to raise money for veterans.
Right.
November 13th in Columbus, Ohio. He is putting together all Ohio artist lineup, which includes, let me see if the Breeders, the Black Keys, 9 Inch Nails, Dave Grohl.
Whoa.
And the headliner is that he's getting the 2 other members of the James Gang and saying this is going to be their last gig.
Wow.
That sounds great.
So I'd love to go. The cheapest seat, $400. But it is for a good cause. So we're right. We're thinking.
Well, it's cheaper than flying to Europe to see AJ. So with the you factor all that in and.
Right. Yeah, it's only an hour and a half away drive, so there is that. Yes, and you're seeing a whole handful of artists. It's quite a lineup. So we're considering it, but at least I'll let you know, and the people who watch the podcast will be aware of it. And it is a great cause to support the veterans, specifically the veterans in Ohio.
Oh, okay, lovely.
Yeah.
You see, cover all things on this podcast. Well, guys, if you all have nothing else to cover for this month, I would say that it was a really successful podcast. As I said, this month... Oh, by the way, well, I forgot to mention, I do have an interview coming up soon. It was supposed to be last week, but unfortunately, because of the time difference, and because of the fact that they are literally living in different countries that taking advantage of the summer break because they are under 18 still. We're talking about the Sixters, and I have been in communication with their manager, and it's just about nailing down the time that we figured out that we're okay. So I'm supposed to have an interview with all 5 girls because unfortunately they're not 6 right now, but they will be revealing their new band member. Well, as you know, they are from Ukraine, and the lead singer left the band, but she has been replaced. Well, not replaced, but the lead singer is now the bassist, the rhythm guitarist, sorry. And she has taken over, and she was spectacular. I just did a reaction to the latest video. It is released, and it was really good. So they have some stuff in the works, so I will be talking to them very soon. So,
okay.
So I wish I could talk to the... I don't wish I could talk to the recording rate. I will literally be... No. But other than that, that's it, right, guys?
All right.
All right.
And we made it all under an hour.
Yeah, there you go. Great time.
Excellent. Have a great month, everybody.
Yeah. So, guys, if you all have any questions, anybody that you would like me to actually try to interview, because I think we will be able to put maybe a preview of all the interviews when I start bundling them up. And of course, if you would like to suggest someone to actually come on the show, or you yourself would like to come on the show to represent your fandom, please put that into the comment section below. So on behalf of Ed, Andy, and myself, I bid you farewell. Have a great, great month in music, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody.
See you in September.
Hi.
This has been the Spice TEA Podcast, TeeSpicerReacts Monthly Music Spill. Please join us again next time.